Okay, so this is gonna ruffle a lot of feathers because Star, Idaho is like where so many people have inquired and have been excited to see and want to see when they come to Idaho. But man, it has turned into something that is kind of sad to me. Over the past 2, 3, 4 years ago, Star was like this awesome like farm community where, you know, you had these beautiful houses and some cornfields and just farmers. Man, it's not like that anymore. And I recently took a family out to Star, Idaho and showed them some property, and they were shocked at what they found. And I'm gonna detail in this video some other concerns that people have about moving or living in Star, Idaho. And I can't wait to hear your feedback. So be sure to drop a comment down below throughout this video on what your take is about Star, Idaho, what you've heard, and maybe just kind of like, if you've been out there, what your expectations were versus what you saw. So in this video, I'm gonna discuss the 5 reasons why you should not move to Star, Idaho in 2025. And we'll see how it does, but I just gotta give you the truth. I gotta give you the honest truth. So when you come to Idaho, you know kind of what to expect. So hopefully I can do that for you in this video, but let's dive into the reasons why you should not move to Star, Idaho. Okay, first and foremost, I'll just hit this right off the bat. If you are thinking about making the move to Idaho and Star is that like community you want to check out, I definitely want to show it to you. I definitely want to take you all around, have you compare Star, Idaho to another city. Don't hesitate to reach out. Drop me a comment, shoot me a text, send me an email, or pick up the phone and give me a call so that we can connect and put a game plan together while you're here in town. That's first and foremost. Star, Idaho, I gotta say, it's a great family community. They are building like crazy. You will see that what once was a quiet little town with, you know, not much going on is now busy. Construction everywhere, commercial, residential, it's just booming. And Star is not like this big, massive city. It's very small, and so you get a lot of density in a small area. All right, so I'm gonna meet up with Wendy and Allie on our team, who you haven't met before, and just talk about, you know, what they see as reasons why people shouldn't move to Star, Idaho. You guys know Wendy, but you haven't met Allie. She's new to the team, been with the team, moved up here from California, and she currently lives in Star. So let's have you meet Allie before we get going. Hi. And we got Wendy. All right, guys, so a lot of people come to Eagle, Idaho, they come to Star, Idaho, they come to Meridian, but we found really in the last little while, a lot of people aren't choosing Star, Idaho. So I've got Allie here. Allie, you have moved from California up to Star. Tell us what it is about Star, or just share a little bit about your story of why you chose Star.
So my husband got a job in Eagle, and that's why we chose Star. It was a more affordable option. We love living in Star, but there are some things that you should know if you're moving here, just that I didn't know because we moved really quickly. One of the big ones is traffic, but it's all relative. So if you're coming from a big city, the traffic is not that bad, but there is traffic here, especially during rush hour times. And this used to be like country farmland, so it's a lot of 2-lane roads, and sometimes you get stuck behind an enormous tractor. So that's just something to consider when you're moving to Star.
Okay, so a lot of people think that, man, yeah, Star's a small town, but really that traffic builds up and it can be a bottleneck.
Allie, what has been your biggest challenge with the traffic in Star?
Well, in Star, there's really only a couple ways in and out. So during high traffic times, it gets really bottlenecked and backed up. And especially during like the after school, like 3 to 5:30 hours, we're trying to get home, get our kids ready, and get back out for practices and activities. And you just have to really account for the time to go from one place to another during those high traffic times. And it's just you get used to it, but it's really just part of living in Star.
Okay, so Allie, there's Highway 16 going in. What do you think of that?
So in Star, we're so excited about 16 going in because it's going to connect Star all the way down to the freeway, which is I-84. And that's going to be able to take you, you know, to all the main parts you need to get to in Idaho, especially to the airport in Boise. And so it's going to cut off a lot of the travel time, and on our little highways through town, there's stoplights. But once we get these Highway 16 in, we'll just be able to zip right to 84. So we're very excited about that.
So that highway is going to be a huge benefit for the residents of Star. It's going to allow you to connect to things so much faster, get up to Emmett. I think, it's just the growing pains of the city of Star. Like, it's just so much construction going on, and we'll talk about that in just a bit. But that freeway is going to be, or that highway is just going to be fantastic. But, what's really interesting is what people think when they first come to Star. So maybe you're watching this and you're like, man, I've heard of great things about Star, but what's it really like? And I know Wendy just recently showed someone. Actually, Wendy, why don't you just tell?
I just had a couple clients, they're actually still in town, but I just showed them Star the other day, and they're really looking for waterfront property. And so there's some really cool properties out there in Star on the water. And so I wanted to show them that. But once we got out there, they thought it was really amazing. Like, it felt great, but they just felt like it was just too rural for them. So they just felt like there weren't enough amenities for them. And that's important for them. So they want to really be closer to the stores and things like that. So Allie, you living in Star, what kinds of amenities do they offer? And do you know if any other bigger stores are coming?
Right. So when I first moved there 4 years ago, we didn't even have a grocery store, and now we have two. So that's a big deal, but it's a small town. So there's just a few restaurants, and we have a Starbucks, we're getting a Dutch Brothers, but there's not the big amenities that you're looking for. There's not big chain restaurants like Applebee's or Chili's that you would take loud crying children to, or things like that. And there's also no Target and no Walmart. So everything is at least a 20 to 30 minute drive to get to those big box, like basic stores that you would need. Even like a Home Depot or a Lowe's, all of those are far. So you just have to take it into consideration.
Okay, so number one, traffic. Traffic in Star is kind of a nightmare. Number two, the amenities. If you're looking for a lot of amenities, Star's not the place to go. Allie just explained, no Walmart, no Applebee's, no Chili's. You got my baby back. No, none of that. And then number three is just the distance to get to things, like the distance to travel to sports. I know, Allie, you've got some ball players in your family. So let me just have you kind of like, what's it like for you to get to sports and practice?
Okay, so where we were from, we could get anywhere for practices within probably about 10 minutes. So you definitely have to consider that when you're moving to Star, because there's no competitive sports in the town. There's rec leagues, but if your kids want to play competitively, you're not going to find that in Star. So we have to at least add on 30-minute drive to Nampa, or sometimes 40 minutes to Meridian, Eagle. And sometimes my kids have even played way out in Boise, kind of near the airport. So it's a big trek, and it's a big commitment if you have kids that are playing sports. So we did have a Costco open in Meridian. That's much closer. So I do that Costco. Some people choose to go to Nampa because there's more around the Nampa Costco. There's a Target right there and more of the big box stores next to that Costco. To get to Costco from Star, it's about 10 to 15. 15. Solid 15.
Less traffic if you go to Nampa or in Meridian?
Well, the Meridian one's closer, but like I said, the Nampa one just has more things around it to go to.
So yeah, I mean, if you're looking to go and just, get out and about, it might be a little bit of a drive, but I think compared to where you might be coming from, it's still going to be a piece of cake. But that might be a reason why you should not move to Star, Idaho. And the reason number 4 you should not move to Star, Idaho right now is new construction galore. So I'm curious to know what you think so far. If Star is off your list or if it's still on your list, drop a comment down below.
I have been showing a lot of clients, different clients in Star and different areas, but we have found that yes, there is kind of construction everywhere you go. There's new buildings. Also, I found with my last clients was they really found this house through a certain builder that they really, really loved. But then there were just little lots. And so even though they didn't want a huge yard, it just felt like the house would have taken up most of the yard. And so they just didn't really like that. And they also wanted no back neighbors. And so I think sometimes with all the building, they're making some of the lot sizes a little smaller. So what are your thoughts on that?
Definitely the lot sizes seem smaller out in Star. I feel like they're really trying to pack as much in there as they can. And also with the construction, there's always road closures. I mean, always. So you're always just trying to find a detour. And this is just part of growing pains, of course, but you're always having to go around someone or something, or just being stopped for them to be fixing the roads or changing the roads or something like that. It's just constant.
So if you're thinking, hey, I want to make the move to Boise, Idaho, and yeah, I'd check out Star, but I'm not sure if it's the right place I want to be at, reach out to us for a private consultation. Pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email so that we can connect and put a game plan together that's right for you. Okay, so we just recapped like the 4 reasons why you should not move to Star in 2025. Traffic, congestions, distance to get places, the construction that's just going bananas. And the 5th reason, dads, I'm sorry, we're just not into it as much as the moms. The moms are in the details of everything. So ladies, what is the 5th reason why you should not move to Star, Idaho?
So when we moved here, I didn't realize, or I guess I realized, I just didn't realize how far it was. There's no high school in Star. And let me say that elementary and the middle school are amazing, but there is no high school in Star. And when we first moved, you had to go 6 miles to Eagle to go to the high school. And then they opened a new high school, which is awesome. But guess what? It's 6 miles in the other direction.
So Star splits between 2 high schools. So half of the Star kids go to Eagle High, the other half go to Owyhee. And Eagle is awesome, we all know that, but Owyhee is really new, so a lot of people don't realize that Owyhee is really awesome as well.
For sure. We've really created a wonderful community at Owyhee, and I love it, and my kids have loved it. This year, 2024, I believe, will be the actual first graduating class of kids that started as freshmen.
So a lot of people are looking online, to see what schools their kids should go to and what schools are good and all that. And we have found that maybe the online ratings aren't always that accurate. Right. So a lot of times, because like Owyhee wouldn't come up very well, like the rating for Owyhee wouldn't be very good because it's so new, right? And there's not a lot of data. So you just have to be careful about the schools and how long they've been around and right. Things like that.
And don't rule things out because they're new, because they could be very good. And the teachers were all handpicked for Owyhee, so they're all really, really good. Knowing what I know, I love, love, love Star. But to be honest, I would pick someplace closer to a bigger town like Meridian, or even just more into Boise. Where I'm from, you don't really live near a big city because it can be lots of crime or, congestion, or just it's not where you would want to raise a family. But in Boise, you can live in Boise and have a beautiful home and raise a family. And I just didn't know that before moving here. So I think if you have little kids, the community in Star is amazing. The elementary school is amazing. There's wonderful parks. So it's really, really good for that. And then also on the reverse, if you're retired and you're not driving your kids around everywhere, that's the biggest, complaint I would say. It's just you have to drive everywhere for everything. And I didn't realize that moving here. But if you're retired or your kids can drive, it's really just an amazing place to live. But when you're in that in-between where you have to take them everywhere, that's when it can be a little challenging.
Okay, so there you have it. 5 reasons why you should not be making a move to Star, Idaho. But there are some really good benefits, like Allie mentioned. If you're retired or you're not running kids around all day, every day, and you just have little ones, there's so many community events and parks to take the kids to and play at. There really is a lot to do out in Star, and it is a really safe community. Pro Second Amendment. A lot of people love that, are moving that way. So if you want to move to Star, Idaho, which you might want to, but if you don't, that's okay. There's so many other places you can go to. Just reach out to us here at the Go Idaho team. We'd love to take care of you. And who knows, maybe you'll work with Allie, Wendy, myself, Crystal, or anyone else on the Go Idaho team. Just give us a call and we'd love to connect.